The Ukulele Review Podcast.
Thank you for coming down, man.
Of course.
We do these recordings upstairs from Ko'olau. So usually when Abe comes, he makes it by for us to give the ukulele a little checkup. And still playing that. That's
it's
been
needed.
How old is this?
You know what? 11 years,
Wow.
11 or 12 years now.
Because I was thinking about it. I was like, I think I was working at Ko'olau when we first.
Right, and this was back when you guys were out in Kaneohe.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we covered the teaching that you got going on, and I guess the next thing for you is to put out another album.
Yeah, it's in the works.
Cool. You probably come back to Hawaii for our awesome studios over here, right?
Oh yeah, there's great. You know, Hawaii's got the best. No, nothing against Hawaii. There's great studios here.
I know. There's just so many in LA.
There, you know, after living in LA for 9 years, almost 10 years now, I've worked in a variety of studios, both, you know, actual recording studios and home studios. And man, it's just
even some of the home studios.
Some of the home studios are like ridiculous. You know?
Can hear like some of the features of our studio, like when they flush the toilet downstairs.
Yeah,
the pipes.
I hear it right now.
Nice ambient tone.
Water, right? Right. It's a nice effect. I could use that in my next album.
One day.
Yeah.
One day I'll have it all.
I kind of have the tunes worked out, and it's just a matter of logistics now. You know, where to, you know, booking the studio.
So tell us about it. I mean, like, say.
So this is a little bit different because the previous albums that I've released were ukulele was the featured instrument. You know, that was I was showcasing my ukulele skills. This album is gonna be more focused on the drums and composition side. So it's gonna be all original music, but the songs will be songs that I write in the jazz setting, meaning like as if I were playing drums. A lot of the stuff I've released in the past were ukulele compositions, tunes that I wrote on the ukulele. But this one, I'm thinking about the whole ensemble. So it's a little bit different. I'm going to focus more on my drumming because I don't really have a drumming album that features.
And that's your original acts. I mean,
exactly right. I mean, I've done a lot of records for other people as a drummer. Which, you know, I'm really happy with some of the stuff I've done, but it's under someone else's name, you know.
Right.
So I want to have one under my own name, but then I'm also going to play ukulele on it. So I'll play some melodies, I'll play some solos, but it won't be. There's going to be quite a bit, but it's not uke-centric. It's not centered around the ukulele.
Right.
There's going to be other instruments. I plan to have a full rhythm section, piano, bass, drums, and maybe some soloists, and I plan to do some vibraphone too.
Bebop-ish or
kind of more contemporary jazz. So instrumental, but it won't be bebop. It'll be just my original sound on based on what I'm hearing right now. You know,
but would any of those tunes carry through on like a solo ukulele gig, or you would probably have to compose them for?
Well, I do plan to put a few tunes on there, like ukulele tunes, because everyone loves. They're asking for you know, more ukulele music. And I was like, okay, gotta make that crowd happy, you know.
Right.
So I'm gonna record a few ukulele compositions, originals.
Anything ready to show us yet?
Yeah, it's
cool.
It's brand new. I could play a tune. I've only performed it maybe once or twice, I think.
Give it
in
a
front
shot.
Of people. So it's not. I'll do my best.
Okay.
It's brand new. It's still going through some edits.
Beta version.
Yeah, definitely beta version. Yeah.
Well, let's.
Should I try it?
Yeah, let's take a listen.
Here we go.
Wow. That was beautiful, man.
Thanks.
I
Thank
love
you.
it. And it's kind of different too.
It's different,
like,
yeah.
It's got a really great emotionalness to it, and the movement has like a lot of different emotions in there. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of a roller coaster of
emotions.
sounds and just it's kind of telling a story.
Cool. Awesome. That's the point.
Yeah. Should get some
Try to bring the
animation
listener
with
on a journey.
like an anime video.
Yeah.
Go along. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Studio Ghibli action.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. So that'll be on the upcoming one in
I mean,
some version of it.
It's rough. It's
Right,
rough.
right.
It's totally
No.
rough.
I love it though. I love the
Thanks,
ideas.
thanks.
In its raw
that's
form,
probably
you
like
can
the
tell
fifth time I've actually played it in like from beginning to end. So I'm sure it'll go through some changes.
Right.
Before it makes the record. So, but just
But there's
I'll
something
have
cool
two-
too
I'll
about
have a
just
few of
like
those.
the raw.
Exactly.
First versions of things.
Yeah.
have a quality to them. Mm-hmm. Man, it's really great to have you come down here today. A lot of our watchers, subscribers, whatever, are trying to take their playing to the next level, and part of that is just with inspiration, hearing good players and watching them and seeing what they do. But is there anything you could give towards? I know it's hard when it's not on an individual basis, but I mean, was there any like aha moments or milestones for you in terms of I guess things you either listened to or books that you looked into, influences?
So being I guess in witnessing the scene really on a worldwide level, just seeing a lot of videos online and just kind of being in it. The one thing that I recommend aspiring ukulele players is to the learning of songs is great, and that's essential, and learning someone's specific arrangement of something, that's great because it allows you to focus on technique and sound and everything. But the one thing that I want to give, or my one word of advice for aspiring ukulele players is to come up with your own arrangements and own compositions, to come up with something original, because that's when you really find your own voice. There's a lot of ukulele players out there. They sound amazing and their technique is phenomenal, but what's their voice? As an artist and as a musician, I think that's the whole point of why we're doing this. Is people want to hear us. They don't want to listen to us playing someone else's music. Maybe they do, but really, when I want to listen to someone, I want to hear them. So the best way to hear someone is if you hear their music that they came up with. You can get a little bit of their voice and their style if they're playing someone else's song, but a true voice is someone who came up. They sat down, they came up with their own music, they worked it all out, and then they present it. I want to see more of that.
Right.
I think the ukulele world could use a lot of that.
Right.
Yeah.
There's definitely talent in either executing,
Totally, yeah.
like pieces that are already there, or taking, somebody else's pop song and bringing it to the ukulele and composing it that way.
Cool,
but
because
then,
they're working on arranging skills on the instrument,
right?
But they're still using someone else's.
But then just to
material.
have that open palette of okay, where would it go from here, and just even getting beyond like where should it go, but just playing with sounds and like listening to it and how it feels, and
and you learn a lot about yourself too, and what your and to find out what inspires you as a musician, as a ukulele player, because when you already have a song to work with, you're inspired from the song.
Yeah,
You need to
yeah.
with an original composition, you got to find your own inspiration.
Right.
From
yeah.
something.
And maybe
then,
that's starting with like, well, how do I feel? What sort of things do I want to get out?
And then the music becomes so much more personable for you, So as far as like emotion and sharing that, it's more meaningful, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely that's a great thing. I mean, that's even inspiring to me because it's like, oh, that's something that I haven't done much of lately, of just sitting down and trying to like find, new ways. And you end up, when you can get in the zone and do that, hours pass by and you're playing your instrument, but it's not practice, it's not, there's nothing really like hard or tedious about it. You're just expressing yourself the way an artist does, in a painting or, any kind of expression that allows a release. And in these times that we live with so much, that can bring us anxiety, sometimes we have to put it out in ways other than just, I don't know who does this, but trashing people on YouTube or, it's like there's
comments.
construction ways.
Yeah.
Constructive ways to get emotions and the hardships of life into positive things.
Yeah, and it also is a time, like kind of like a timestamp for as you progress as a ukulele player, and when you listen back to your old songs, it's like, wow, it really kind of brings you back, and you can see how you've grown, through your own music. So that's kind of neat, and through your own writing process.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, like back from your Akamai Brain Collective days to like a composition like this. I mean, you were already, you were in Juilliard, and I mean, you were accomplished in a lot of ways, but there's just a depth that you start to like build upon as you mature musically.
Yeah.
How much of that do you think for you plays into like the multiple instruments? I mean, I know you were like playing piano and drums way before ukulele, but do you think there's an advantage to like, do you think maybe you hear like the entire thing better than somebody that's just playing ukulele, or kind of hard to say at this point?
Yeah, I mean, now it's I'm at a point where it's like painting now, it's like, like you have the open, you have the
and it's just different mediums,
the canvas, and you find things different things that inspire you, whether it's another song or usually for me it's traveling. I get a lot of inspiration from that.
Do you ever think like maybe your ukulele playing carries over into like, a drum solo, or just like ideas crossing over?
Yeah. And also I think it reflects on the music that you listen to, the more different styles of music that you're aware of. Like, I've been told a bunch of times where someone heard me play and they thought it was a guitar, could be the sound of it, but some of them, a lot of them forget that it's an ukulele, because I'm playing it in another style, either in a more flamenco style or a more like guitarish singer-songwriter type of style,
when you do your jazz style, or
more jazz style, right?
more along the, I guess, bebop lines, like when you go from outlining the song to entering the solo, and a lot of times go into that like double time thing, I hear like trumpet and sax players that I've listened to for a long time, and and string players do that too, but
that's where all my vocabulary comes from. It's listening to those trumpet and saxophone
like
solos,
you're probably more
piano
influenced
solos
by them than any
so it's funny because if you hear me improvise on like a piano or vibraphone, it's very similar to this actually when I solo on the ukulele, because they're it's the same type of nuances and lines, that
same melodies
these
you're
horn
hearing,
players that licks that they played over and over and over for decades, and you learn how to play those lines or solos. It doesn't matter what instrument you're doing it on. It's just hearing that progression of chords and notes. It just transfers to the instrument. So it's not like I'm completely soloing in an original manner on the ukulele. I'm definitely drawing from the tradition, you know, and then combining it with your own ideas.
Right.
And I mean that's what improvising is. You start with the foundation, then you contribute your own feelings and emotions and ideas.
Take it your own way.
Into something your own
all
thing,
of those influences come through.
Yeah. It's got to come from something. Yeah.
Sometimes I imagine you, like in your mind space, being like a samurai and in battle or something during some of those.
When I write, I get into this really just zen kind of mode where you just kind of reflect, and then you just paint. That's painting is a really good analogy of how I come up with something. Because you start with an idea and then it just snowballs from there. So it's hard. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, for me at least, it's not easy. But there are a lot of times where, like for example, that song, I had an idea and I had it for a long time, but I didn't know what else to put after it. And then I started working, and then it just kind of came together. But I had that specific idea for 2-3 months. So it took about that long, maybe even longer, for me to actually finish the song. One song, 3-4 months. But it's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I was talking to Zach, who's running the audio and video right now, and he was telling me that's kind of the hard part, like starting a song.
Well, starting it is sometimes the easiest part because it just catches you and it's
right.
just that feeling of awesomeness.
Yeah.
But then to capture that, put it in and call it something, snap it. This is what
Right.
That's the hardest part because you're scared of maybe losing that.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, you have to make sure that idea really kind of sticks out. It doesn't lose the essence or the effectiveness of that idea. So whatever you put out, like you may really like it, but whatever you put after it, you got to be really careful, But then you got to add more material to it, or else your song is going to be 10 seconds long, So it's you kind of get more critical as the song progresses. It's like, ooh, should I do this? Should I do this?
And that's where it ends around 70%.
That's where it gets
come back to you later.
Yeah, and that's what I do with it. I come back to it. I record the idea, and then I just put it away, and then I come back to it, and then maybe I'll find something else.
That's more good advice, to actually get it captured at least.
Yes, because
or else then it can disappear.
So many times.
I'm like, I'm definitely gonna remember that.
I'm driving or something, and oh, that's a cool idea, and then I never, and you lose it, later that day.
Well, luckily we all have. Most of us have something in our pocket we can bust out and capture it now.
I know. Yeah.
So, well, it's really good catching up. We could talk about tons of different stuff, but get to know Abe through his different resources. That book you put out is awesome, and I've got nothing but great feedback from it. Yeah. It's Abe Lagrimas Jazz, but what's it called again?
Jazz Ukulele, Comping, Soloing, Chord Melodies. And it's my approach to playing jazz on the instrument. Because when I first picked up the ukulele, I approached it as a jazz instrument. I was playing jazz. I didn't start off. You got to learn the chords and all, but right off the bat, I was kind of learning jazz songs on it. Learning different voicings. So it's great because you learn a lot of different
there's
voicings,
a lot of
seventh chords, and I talk a little bit about tensions and how to approach a solo,
that was cool.
How to comp in a jazz setting, different patterns, different sounds and tonal ways to comp, and not just strumming. Using your fingers to play chords instead of strumming. Things like that.
Right.
And there's play-alongs, and examples that you can listen to. So It's all in there.
Is there like a download for the songs if you go to your somewhere
when
on
you buy
Hal
the
Leonard,
book,
right? Yeah.
there's a code, an access code that you input online, and that gives you all the play along tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a great way to practice.
Exactly.
Get your timing, get a better sense of exactly how
I
it's
did the
going to
drums
feel.
on the recording.
Of course, right.
Too. Yeah. So it's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. And the ukulele play.
Well, thanks, man. I'm I love what you do. Thank you for doing
Cool. Yeah. Always great
everything
to
that
be
you're
here.
doing. Thank you for representing my family's custom instruments, Koalau.
my
Super
baby.
proud to have you
Yeah.
on the team, and
Sounded great.
definitely.
I love this instrument. Yeah.
Well, let's give the people another song.
Do one
and-
more? Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Abe.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. I'll do another original. Yeah.
No, dude, that's dope.